Early voting has begun in Canada, and oh man, Canadians are turning out like it's a Taylor Swift pre-sale. 2 to 4 hour lineups across the country on day one. No lack of interest here, just pure Democratic flex.
And let's be clear, this isn't just a federal election. This is about protecting Canada from what's coming south of the border. Because Donald Trump is watching, and Marck Carney said it straight in the leaders' debate.
He said Donald Trump wants to break Canada to own us because he wants our land and resources. I am ready to take on the United States. Now that's the kind of backbone we need right now.
Especially when the US president is behaving like a cartoon villain with dementia. He's launching tariffs that could hit the US as hard as Brexit hit the UK. Marck Carney compared Trump's economic sabotage directly to that. And he's not wrong.
This election is no joke. People are fired up because they know what's at stake. And right now, Marck Carney is in the lead with 43.7% of the support. The Conservatives are trailing at 37.7%, but this race is not over yet.
If you haven't voted yet, don't just wing it. Go to smartvoting.ca and find out which candidate can actually defeat Conservatives in your riding. If it's the NDP, vote NDP. If it's the Bloc, go Bloc. This isn't about ideology, it's about stopping a MAGA takeover of Canada.
And speaking of MAGA, let's talk Rebel News. At the leaders' debates, Rebel News, the sewer pipe of far-right media, somehow got a microphone.
And who owns Rebel News? None other than Poilievre's old boss, Ezra Levant. The guy who mentored him, gave him a job as his media manager, and even had PP pose as a part of a fake Alberta family for his political ad back in the day.
And who posed as his wife in that campaign ad? Well, his current campaign manager. That is just deep fake family values before there was deep fakes. These two basically invented misinformation before it was cool. At this point, Ezra's probably the godfather of Pierre's next attack ad.
And then the English debate post-scrum was cancelled thanks to Rebel News. At first, the organizers blamed it on security concerns. However, the decision came on the heels of controversy surrounding Rebel News' participation in the debate, which rightly drew criticism from several journalists.
Now, credit where credit is due. In the French debate, Jagmeet Singh refused to answer Rebel News, and the Bloc leader Blanchet, he walked right off the stage.
And now it all makes sense. PP doesn't want a free press, he wants a friendly one. He's not interested in informing Canadians, he's interested in managing the narrative.
We know he's pledging to defund the CBC, he's accusing it of bias, while at the same time, he signals support for funding alternative media, the kind that echoes his talking points.
He doesn't want to stop public money from going to media, he just wants it to go to the media that works for him. He wants to defund the truth and subsidize the spin. It's a propaganda playbook, MAGA edition.
PP doesn't hate media, he just hates journalism.
Let's not pretend PP is some kind of centrist dad in glasses. This guy is ripping moves straight out of the Trump playbook.
Take his recent promise to defund universities if they're too woke. You know what that means? Silencing student protests, censoring free speech, and killing the exact kind of activism that helped end the Vietnam War and push forward the civil rights movement.
But sure, Pierre, tell us more about how you're the defender of free speech right after you threatened to defund higher education because it hurts your feelings.
And in his Quebec platform, he pledged to end woke ideology in the civil service and in federally funded university research. So, no science, no diversity, and no ideas that might challenge your oil lobby donors? Who does that sound like?
Donald Trump, who's literally trying to bankrupt Harvard University because they refused to let his administration audit students and faculty for viewpoint diversity. In retaliation, the Trump White House froze $2.2 billion in grants and pushed the IRS to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status, just because they wouldn't play politics with education.
Harvard warned it could devastate financial aid, medical research, and global innovation. But Trump doesn't care. This is about power, not policy. And now, Poilievre, he's pulling the same stunt, except he's aiming at Canadian universities.
demonize education, silence dissent, control what can be studied and taught or even said. Because the truth is dangerous when your campaign is built on fear, lies, and rage.
And let's not forget, Poilievre also wants to bring back single-use plastics. Like we're not already drowning in garbage. Right-wing parties really want to take us back to the 80s, don't they?
And not in the fun neon leg warmers kind of way. Let's connect the dots. Plastic is oil, and Pierre Poilievre, he's cozy with the same fossil fuel executives who profit from climate destruction.
They want to flood the market with trash, gut environmental protections, and call it freedom. But we call it what it is: corporate servitude dressed up as populism.
Let's get real for a second. Life is stressful, the news is chaos, and rage typing in the comments doesn't count as cardio.
This video is sponsored by Yesoul, and their smart rowing machine has become our go-to for blowing off steam. We call it our rage release system.
It's smooth, it's sleek, and it's surprisingly satisfying to row your way through global doom. We've never burned so many calories just reading the headlines.
And our favorite feature? The built-in screen mirroring. Just plug in your phone and stream YouTube, your favorite streaming service, or go full savage and throw on one of our political videos.
Maximum heart rate, no subscription required.
You can also sign up for the Yesoul app to access guided workouts and structured training plans, perfect for staying on track.
It folds up for easy storage, it's quiet, and it works in small spaces. It's perfect if your gym is also your living room.
Use our exclusive link below to get $100 off your Yesoul rowing machine with the code ThePlanetD.
Because cardio is cheaper than therapy and way more effective than doom scrolling.
For fun cardio, foldable, full-body workouts, even in small spaces, click on the link below. Meanwhile, in the land of the free, tourism is tanking like Elon Musk's credibility. And it's not just Canadians. The entire planet is hitting pause on US vacations.
Canadian travel to the US is down 900,000 people in March alone. That's a 70% drop from previous years. Airlines are scrambling. WestJet is yanking planes right out of Florida and sending them to Europe. Air Canada's using smaller aircraft for US routes, and Porter, it's scaling back as well.
So while Canadians stay home and travel elsewhere, the US is bleeding. Last year alone, Canadians spent $20.5 billion in the US and supported 140,000 jobs. That is not happening this year.
And it's not just us. Global travel to the US is down 11.6% already. European bookings down 17%, with France alone dropping a staggering 25%. Chinese visitors are down 11%, and Australia just recorded its steepest decline since COVID.
Even Gavin Newsom from California is begging us to come back. He released a video this week saying, "Don't let Trump ruin your beach plans." Buddy, at this point, Florida man is looking for a passport. We'll take glacial hikes and healthcare over handcuffs and heat stroke any day.
So why are people worldwide rethinking their US travel plans? Because the fear of being detained or mistreated at the border is real. Take the case of Abrego Garcia, a U.S. resident who lived legally in Maryland since 2011. In March, Trump's administration deported him illegally.
They sent him straight to El Salvador's infamous mega prison, where he's now being held as a so-called terrorist without charges, trial, or due process.
The U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled his deportation was unlawful and ordered the government to bring him back. But the administration refuses, saying they can't, which is code for won't.
And then came Margarita-gate. During a visit by Senator Chris Van Hollen, Salvadoran officials staged a photo op, placing margarita glasses in front of Abrego Garcia to make it look like he was living it up behind bars. Yes, really.
This isn't just one case, it's a warning. If Trump can ignore court orders and abandon legal residence to authoritarian regimes, nobody's rights are safe. This is what lawlessness in office looks like.
And yet, Trump walks free with 34 criminal convictions and still thinks he's above the law. That's not democracy, that's organized crime in a red tie.
And while all that chaos unfolds down south, here in Canada, we're showing up in record numbers.
We don't always agree on the path, but we agree we don't want to walk off a cliff holding hands with Trump.
So if you haven't voted yet, do it. Go to smartvoting.ca and vote strategically. Make your voice heard before it's too late.
Because if Trump gets his way, it won't just be the US that falls apart. He wants to break Canada just to prove that he can.
And speaking of standing up to bullies, Neil Young warned that Canada is facing threats to its very existence from so-called friends who want our land, water, and heck, even our souls. He said Carney has the guts to lead us through this crazy situation and keep our core values intact.
As we head to the polls, remember, Canada is still rocking in the free world. Then let's keep it that way. And if you can't get out there and vote early, make sure to vote on April 28th. That's election day. If you want to keep fighting for freedom and make sure we don't become the 51st state, make sure to subscribe, like, and click that bell for notifications, because we put up political videos like this every week.
And stay tuned for Travel Tuesdays, where we take you who knows where next.